Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making some coconut cupcakes. Now, I found a few recipes about this and I've basically adapted some of them to suit what I need. And one of the things that seemed to be required was cake flour, which we don't really get in the UK, so I've made my own version of cake flour, but plain flour would be perfectly okay. Plain flour has a slightly higher gluten content to cake flour, and the way of making your own is for every 125 grams of plain flour that you have, take out a tablespoon of that and 2 tablespoons of that, and replace it with 2 tablespoons of corn flour, mix it in, and you've then got cake flour. So what I have here is 170 grams of cake flour, and I actually have 20 grams of coconut flour. Never seen it before until yesterday. I saw it and I thought, well, I'll buy that and put that in just to give a bit of a coconut flavour. I have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt, 113 grams of soft butter, unsalted, 200 grams of caster sugar, 2 medium eggs, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 120 millilitres of coconut milk. That's for the cakes. And then for the topping, I have 125 grams of icing sugar, 112 grams of cream cheese, 56 grams of softened butter, and 15 millilitres of coconut milk. And then I have some desiccated coconut to put on the top. Now, I wanted sweetened desiccated coconut, and again, you can't seem to buy that in the UK. So I found a way of doing that, and what you do is you take, in this case I've taken 60 grams of desiccated coconut. I've added 1 teaspoon of icing sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of flavourless oil, and 1 teaspoon of water. Mix them all together and allow them to dry out. And so now I have a sweet coconut that I can put on top of the buttercream topping later on. So to get on with the recipe, first of all we'll put our butter into the mixer, and we're going to cream that with the sugar. And we want to cream that till it's nice and light and airy, so it'll take it 2 or 3 minutes. And then I'm going to add the vanilla extract, the 1/2 teaspoon, and I'm going to add the eggs one at a time and cream that together. So you have to scrape down the side of the bowl so that the egg will get incorporated. Now, I should say I'm preheating the oven to 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And now our eggs are incorporated, so what I'm going to do next is to add the flour and the baking powder together and the pinch of salt and the coconut flour, and then with a whisk I'm just going to mix those together to get them spread out. And then I'm going to add half of that in, or maybe a third. I'll add a third of it in and mix it in, then alternate with the coconut milk. You want to mix it till it's combined and keep scraping down the sides. So half of the coconut milk or thereabouts. Mix that in. Another third of the flour. A good scrape down again. Make sure we get all the flour incorporated. And then we'll add the remaining milk, followed by the remaining flour, and that's our mixture made. I'll give that another scrape down to get that flour in. And then that will be our batter just about done. Okay, so usually I would use ordinary muffin tins with paper liners for the cupcakes, but I've got these little square tin cases, so I thought I'd use those today. And I'm going to fill them about 2/3 full. I'm not sure that I will get 12 out of this mixture, because I'd have got 12 out of muffin tins, but these may be slightly larger, but we'll see as we proceed how we go on. Of course, I might get more. So I'm just going to use a small ice cream scoop and fill them to about 2/3 full. from half to 2/3, that would be fine, I think. So they're between half and 2/3 full, and I actually got 9. So clearly these cases are larger than the muffin tins. Now I'm going to bake those in the oven for about 20 minutes until they've risen up and they're springy to the touch and a skewer comes out clean. So I'll be back with you after they've cooled down and we'll go on to the next step. Right, so I've got the cupcakes out of the oven and I baked them actually for 25 minutes until a skewer comes out clean. So they're done. So now we need to do the buttercream filling. And so what I have here, as I said, is 112, 113 grams of cream cheese, 56 grams of softened butter, and 15 millilitres of coconut milk. And I'm going to mix that, but what I'm going to try to do is something a little bit clever. I want to try to avoid getting this icing sugar, which tends to go everywhere, to stay in the bowl. So I'm going to put the mixer in there like that, and then I'm going to close this plastic around it and hope that that works. And that's good enough for that. So now I can take that off. I'm going to speed that up. And that's that done. So the next thing to do is simply to put some of this on the top of each of the cakes, as much or as little as you like. And then what you would usually do, having topped them, is just refrigerate them for a little while to let the buttercream firm up. And then just take some coconut and sprinkle it over the top. I use a spoon, I think, to try and get it a little bit more even. Just gives it that little extra texture. And that's it. So I've let these chill for a little while, and I've taken one out of the case, and I'm going to break it open. It still needs to chill a bit longer, but it is so light. And crumbly. And it's got that wonderful coconut flavour to it. Oh, I could eat these forever. So that's it for today. A lovely coconut cupcake. If you've liked this video, please click on the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to the YouTube channel to be notified and be aware of any future videos that I make. And I'll be back with you again with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.